Hey guys, welcome back to the Society. If you're new here, thanks for dropping by. If you're returning, welcome back. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that listening is a skill? And have you ever been in a situation where, you're speaking to someone and you feel like you're listening, however, the person that's actually speaking to you turns to you and says, "Did you hear what I had to say? Did you listen to me?" But you're actually either not focused or distracted, or maybe you saw that pretty girl walk by and you turned your head and then you totally lost concentration. Well, let me tell you, that happens to the best of us, and it's happened to me as well. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 things that I've learned over the years that have helped me become a better listener. And if this applies to you, great. So before I begin, let me share a couple stories with you about, why listening has been a challenge for me. And I believe, for me, one of the biggest challenges is just being able to concentrate and focus on that person. And it's not because I didn't want to listen to them or, be part of the conversation, but I guess, I get distracted easily. For example, if I'm out with someone and we're out having a coffee, maybe it's a nice day outside and something happens, maybe something happens on the streets. I'm sitting out on the patio, something happens, so I have to look over. Or maybe that pretty girl just walks by and I'm just like, okay, let's take a look and see who she is. But despite that, I guess what I'm trying to say is, listening is a skill, and it does take a lot of work to be able to be that great listener. But at the same time, I think it's also, who are you conversing with? Who are you, spending that time with? Sometimes that person may be just not engaging, and you really don't feel like you can participate in that conversation, or you have nothing to add to that conversation, and that's fine. But if you're in a position where you're speaking to someone important, and when I say important, for me at least, I'd say it would be my spouse, my kids, my mom, maybe my manager at work. Those are kind of important people, and you want to basically at least give them your full attention to the best of your ability, right? However, there are going to be times where you're probably going to get distracted and you're not going to listen fully to what they have to say, and you may have to ask them to repeat what they said. And as you can imagine, for the other person on the other side who's speaking to you, they may feel a bit annoyed because they feel like they're giving you their full attention and they're providing you some important information, or they had something important that they wanted to speak to you about, but you just couldn't fully participate for one reason or another. And that was me. So, over the years, what I've learned is that I wanted to be a better listener, because at the end of the day, if I can listen to the conversation and be part of that conversation, it builds that relationship, that rapport with that person that much more. So, I would say just make sure that if you know that you're going to be part of an important conversation, try to make that effort to give them their full attention, so that when it's your turn to speak, they're going to give you their full attention back. And I believe that that does foster a stronger relationship with whoever you're speaking with. So before I move on to sharing with you what I've learned over the years, the one thing I just really want to say is that, guys, I know it's hard to listen, and sometimes maybe you just don't want to listen at all, and that's fair, that's fine. But do your best to open up your ears and give the other person that you're speaking to the respect, even if they don't deserve it. But just, be that better person and be able to listen to what they have to say to you. Because you may miss something that's really important, and you don't want to have that person have to repeat themselves over and over again. Because I find that, for me at least, when that happened to me, the other person eventually just got so annoyed that they didn't even want to speak to me anymore. And that actually really affected the relationship I had with that person. So really what I'm trying to say is, if you're looking to foster those strong relationships with people, listening is one of those things that you really have to be strong at, to practice at, to be better at. All right, so let's get into the 3 things that I've kind of learned over the years that have helped me become a better listener. All right, so number 1 is when I'm speaking to someone, I try my best to, really look them in their eyes, because again, that gives that kind of feeling that you're, engaged, you're present, and you're listening to them. And when they look you back in the eyes, they know that your attention is there, you're focused, and you have that intent to really listen to what they have to say. And going back to my point earlier, so when it's your turn to speak, hopefully they give you the same respect back and they listen to you, so that, when it's your turn, they're going to be able to listen to you intently. Number 2 is try to do your best to tune out any distractions that are around you. And for me, I'd say one of the things that where I found this important is especially when I was going out on dates, right? When I was going out on dates and I was going to meet someone new, I really wanted to make sure that I gave my date the full attention. I didn't want to be that person, just there for no reason, or not showing the lady the respect and not wanting to be part of the conversation. So making sure that your surroundings, as much as there may be distractions around, try your very best to make sure that you're fully engaged in that conversation with that person. And then number 3, I'd say for me, it's also kind of watching how they speak. Because, when you're speaking with someone and conversing with someone, you can see their lips moving, obviously. So when you're doing that, it helps to kind of repeat what they're saying, or summarize what they have to say. And that's sometimes just through obviously listening, but also when you see how they speak, you can see their enthusiasm, you can see if they're, the way they speak is really with intent, or they're just present with you. And I think that kind of helps me as well. Obviously, I don't want to be creepy about it. I'm not constantly just staring at their lips or their mouth, but I think that really helps me out too. So those are the 3 things that I've kind of learned over the years on how to kind of listen intently with the person I'm speaking with and helping build those strong relationships. So if this helped you, or if you found any value in what I've shared with you today, please comment below. Let me know if you've had any issues with speaking, and give a like, and please consider subscribing to help support the channel. I really appreciate you guys. So see you next time. Remember, be inspired by one, and let's be the best versions of yourself.